This is chapter 27 of the book titled God's Gift to Women by Michael Baisden. It was 11:30 when I arrived at the office building. The lobby was buzzing with activity as the men rushed to eat lunch and the women hurried down to the Galleria Mall to go shopping. As I approached the security desk, I saw a familiar face. It was Joe, the security guard. He was looking sharp in his spit-shine shoes and pressed uniform. "Good afternoon, Joe." "Good afternoon, Mr. Payne. I see you're here for the big meeting." "Big meeting? I ain't know about any big meeting." "Well, I just assumed it was important since all the big wigs were in town from New York and Los Angeles. That only happens 2 times a year. Usually after the Arbitron ratings books come out for the fall and summer." "Joe, you really know what's going on around this place, don't you? Don't let this tough exterior fool you, young fella," he said while sticking out his skinny chest. "I'm not just a well-trained fighting machine. I'm a customer service rep." "Well, at ease, soldier," I said, trying not to burst out laughing. "I'll rest a lot easier knowing you're on the job." Then I started walking toward the elevators. "Wait a minute, Mr. Payne. Do you mind signing this picture for me? It's for my daughter-in-law. She listens to your show every night." He pulled out a picture of a middle-aged white woman in a hospital gown holding a newborn infant. There were 2 younger children standing in the picture beside her. "I took this picture 2 weeks ago in the hospital after she gave birth to my 3rd grandchild. Isn't she adorable?" "She sure is, Joe. Congratulations," I said while signing the picture. "By the way, Mr. Payne, I'll be seeing you on the midnight shift starting next week. My daughter needs help with the kids during the daytime until my son returns from his tour of duty overseas." He whipped out a photo of a man wearing an army uniform. He looked exactly like Joe, only younger. "I can see G.I. Joe runs in the family," I said while rushing towards the elevators. "See you on the graveyard shift." "Good luck with the meeting, Mr. Payne," he yelled to me. "And by the way, I hope your neck is okay." While riding up to the studio, I remembered that I still had the bandage on my neck to cover up the hickey. I hope Terry doesn't find out I'm here. I peeled back the bandage and looked at the hickey in the elevator mirror. Most of it had faded, but there was still a small spot on the right side of my neck. "Just 2 more days," I said to myself. I had been avoiding her all week to give the bruise a chance to heal. As the elevator doors opened on the 25th floor, I pressed the bandage back on and prayed that she wouldn't show up. The moment I entered the studio lobby, I could feel the tension in the air. The employees were rushing around the office trying to look busy. Even Janet Jackson was at her desk answering calls during her lunch break. I knew something major had to be going down if that sister wasn't eating. "Good afternoon, Mr. Payne." "Excuse me?" I said, "Good afternoon." She was whispering and gritting her teeth. "Don't make this harder than it already is." "Oh, now I get it. You're on your best behavior today. Now I know there's something major going on," I said, teasing her. "How about a cup of coffee, Miss Jackson?" "Don't press your luck, Julian," she said under her breath in an evil tone. "The big wigs will be gone tomorrow, and you'll be all mine." Just then, Mitch came running out from the back office with a frantic expression on his face. "Come on, man. Everybody's waiting for you." He grabbed me by the arm and pulled me towards the door. "Who's everybody?" Mitch dragged me into the conference room where Mr. Harris, the general manager, and several men and women were engaging in deep conversation. They were all conservatively dressed, with leather business planners placed neatly in front of them at the long oak table. "What's up with the power meeting, boss?" I asked. "Glad you can make it on such short notice, Julian," Mr. Harris said as he stood and shook my hand. "Have a seat. We were just talking about you." Suddenly, all the attention was directed at me. The 11 men and women in the room, mostly male and white, were staring at me as if they were expecting a speech. I felt uncomfortable because I was wearing dingy blue jeans and I had a huge bandage on my neck. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Julian Payne, the man responsible for us being here today," Mr. Harris announced. "Julian, these men and women make up the program directors for our top 10 urban markets. The gentleman at the head of the table is Mr. Ron Stevens, President and CEO. I'll let him take it from here. Mr. Stevens was the poster child for white corporate America. He was in his mid-50s with dark brown hair that was graying around the edges. He appeared to be in fairly good shape and had a very distinguished face, sort of like Robert Redford. Mr. Payne, have you checked your email on the station website? To be honest with you, sir, I didn't know I had an email address or the station even had a website. Well, take a look at this and tell me what you think. Mitch passed the folder over to me. It contains several pieces of paper with dates and numbers. What's this? On the left side of the page is a list of email addresses from every listener who logs on to the station site. On the right are those who email you directly. I'm sorry, I still don't get it. Look at the number on the bottom right side of page 1. Wow, 75,000 addresses. Not bad for a month, huh? Mr. Payne, that information is processed weekly. I slowly turned the pages while checking the total numbers at the bottom. It read, Week 1, 75,000. Week 2, 81,889. Week 3, 99,563. Week 4, 120,901. We estimate that over 500,000 listeners will log on to the website by the end of October to get advice or to curse you out. Either way, they're listening. And that's all that matters to the advertisers. So now what? Now what is why we're all here. We want to take Love, Lust, and Lies national. We'll start with Chicago and Atlanta, he continued. If the ratings show the same trend by the end of November, we'll be on coast to coast by the new year. This is all so sudden. I need a couple of days to talk this over with my lawyer before I make a decision. We figured you might want to do that, so we took the liberty of flying her in from Chicago. She will be here within an hour, Mr. Harris said while staring at his watch. Why don't you think it over? Let's meet again at 3 o'clock. That'll give you time to look over the contract. Yeah, that's a good idea. He handed me a brown folder and patted me on the back. I walked out of the room in a daze. Mitch was trailing closely behind me, clapping and laughing like we had just hit the lottery. Once we were inside the office, I sat down at my desk and stared off into space. What just happened? I asked Mitch. Your dream just came true, that's what. But this has happened way too fast. I thought maybe a year from now, maybe 2, but not this soon. Julian, snap out of it. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, Mitch yelled. Don't even think about blowing it. I need a few minutes alone, Mitch. Do you mind? I said calmly. Take all the time you need, partner, he said with his hand on my shoulder. But remember what I told you back in Chicago. It's your season. Don't be afraid to claim it. Then he walked out. While I sat there in deep thought, I reflected back to all those frustrating days in Chicago at WTLK. The low pay, the raggedy equipment, the leaking ceilings, and the weak radio signal. Now I had a chance to be heard nationwide. But instead of celebrating like Mitch, I was tripping. Mitch is right. I need to claim what's mine, I said, trying to pump myself up. While I was working up the courage to take the next step, there was a knock at the door. Mitch, I told you I needed a few minutes alone. It's not Mitch, it's me, Terry. Can I come in? Oh shit, I said under my breath. I quickly sat down in my chair with my right cheek turned away from the door. Come on in. When she opened the door, I could see the look of disappointment in her eyes. I had been avoiding her all week. I was hoping to see you for a couple minutes just to say hello. She sat down in the chair directly in front of my desk. Why didn't you tell me you were coming over? I could have rearranged my appointments. This meeting was called at the last minute. As you can see, I didn't even have time to change clothes. Is something wrong, Julia? You seem a little tense. Nah, I'm fine. I just have a lot on my mind lately. The situation with Samantha and this syndication deal. It's a little overwhelming. Mitch told me about it. In fact, the whole office knows about it. Congratulations. Thanks, baby, I said while making sure to keep my head turned. Well, I've got to read over this contract before my lawyer gets here. Why don't we get together this weekend to celebrate? Sure, that sounds fun. She stood up and began walking towards the door. Then she stopped. Can I at least have a hug before I go? Of course. I approached her from the right side of my desk while doing my best to keep the bandage hidden. I leaned over to her left side and gave her a firm hug. I sighed. I have forgotten just how good you feel. Is that right? She said in a curious tone. Then why don't you hug me from the other side to see if it feels any better? I knew I was busted, but like any man who's guilty of sin, I tried to play it off. What are you talking about? I'm talking about this. She pulled the bandage off of my neck with her left hand and threw it on the floor. You must think I'm a damn fool. Now I see why you've been avoiding me. If you just calm down, I can explain. Don't even waste your time, Julian. I saw the bitch get in your car at Hilton Saturday night. So now you're spying on me? She slapped my face. Then tears began to roll down her cheeks. How dare you accuse me of doing something so trifling? I came because you asked me to be there. I wanted to surprise you, but I guess I was the one that got the surprise. Terry, I swear to God, this is not what you think. I can explain everything if you just give me a chance. I don't want to hear it, Julian, she yelled. I never want to see you again. Don't call me, don't send me any flowers, and don't you dare write me another damn poem about how different you are, because you're as typical as they come. As she turned to leave, I grabbed her by the arm. Terry, please. Let me go, goddammit, before I forget I'm a lady. Then she jerked away and rushed out the door. A few seconds later, Mitch came rushing in. What the hell is going on? I fucked up, Mitch. Let me guess, she's not the one who gave you that hickey. My sad expression said it all as I walked over to the window and peered out. Julian, you know I try to stay out of your personal business. He put his hand on my shoulder. But you can't carry around this burden forever. It's been affecting your performance on the air for the last few days, and now this? I turned around and stared at him, surprised by how transparent I was. How did you know? Come on, man. I've been dealing with your drama for over 15 years. I was there when you got cold feet at your wedding. I was at the hospital when Sam was born, and I was crying right alongside of you at Carmen's funeral. Hell, I know you better than you know yourself. Mitch, you wouldn't believe this crazy shit even if I told you. Try me. I was embarrassed about telling him, but I needed to talk to someone who would listen without passing judgment. Mitch was mature and open-minded. After 15 years of working together, he had proven to be more than a mentor. He was a friend, even more so than Eddie. Funny how I never realized that until this moment. All right, Mitch, close the door. I took a deep breath. Pull up a chair and have a seat. I'm cool right here. He was leaning against the wall. Trust me, Mitch. You'll need a seat for this one. It's a long story. That is the end of chapter 27. Stay tuned.